Welcome to Black Children's Books Read Aloud. I Love Me Some Me, written by Ashley Burkett. It was supposed to be a great school year. I got the teacher I wanted, and my best friend Star was in my class. This school year was sure to be fun, but it wasn't. It was all good until this girl named Natasha started bullying me. She has been teasing me for weeks, and every day it gets harder and harder to go to school. At first, I thought Natasha was the coolest girl in class because she wears the cutest clothes and always has her hair in a new style. But now that she's bullying me, I just think she's mean, and all she seems to care about is hurting my feelings. When she first started teasing me, I reported her to my teacher, Mrs. Booker. Mrs. Booker takes bullying very seriously, and she has tried to do something about Natasha's bullying, but nothing seems to work. She called Natasha's mom and kept her in from recess. She even sent us to the school counselor, Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thompson worked with us on conflict resolution and showed us how we can get along by using iMessages. I thought we were on our way to becoming friends, until Natasha started making fun of my shoes. I walked over to her and I said in a firm voice, "Natasha, I don't like when you make fun of me. Please stop making fun of me." Do you know that Natasha turned and laughed in my face? Mrs. Booker had no choice but to send her to the principal's office with a referral for bullying. Natasha was suspended for 2 days, but I can tell she didn't learn her lesson because as soon as she came back, she was at it again. Yesterday, I came home crying because of Natasha's mean words about me. When I walked in the house, I noticed my TT Ashley was there and she saw me crying. "What's wrong with TT's baby?" she asked. I leaned over and told her everything that had been going on with Natasha, and she held me in her arms. When I was done talking, TT Ashley looked me straight in my eyes and asked, "Are you done crying about it now?" I shook my head and said, "I guess so." I knew that TT Ashley always had the best advice for me, so I was eager to hear what she had to say. "Makenna, do you not understand that Natasha can only hurt your feelings if you let her?" "What do you mean?" I asked with a look of confusion on my face. "Well, baby girl, it's like this. You can't control what somebody else says about you no more than you can control the weather. People like Natasha are always going to be around, and they won't always say nice things. You will never be able to control what another person says or does, but you can control how you react to what they say and do. If you react by allowing Natasha to hurt your feelings, then you give her control over your actions, your thoughts, and even more importantly, how you feel about yourself. No matter what anybody says or does to you, you have to love yourself more than the words or actions hurt. You have to focus on loving you, some you, girl." "Loving me some me?" I questioned. "Yes, baby girl. Now come in here and let me show you." We went into my room and I stood in front of the mirror. She made me practice saying, "I love me some me," as I looked at every inch of my body. I looked at my hair, my eyes, my nose, my fingers, and even my toes, all while saying, "I love me some me." My skin was not perfect, and my belly even poked out a little, but my TT told me I was special and uniquely made. By the end of the night, I was perfectly fine, loving me some me. As I got ready for bed, I gave myself a big hug and I told myself that no matter what Natasha says, I'm going to love me some me. Today, when I woke up, I thought about what TT Ashley had told me last night and I became anxious about going to school. Just then, the phone rang. It was TT giving me one last pep talk. "Today is the day you try something new. You take back control of your feelings and focus on loving. I know, TT, loving me some me, I replied. I hung up the phone and then my mom took me to school. As I walked into Mrs. Booker's class, Natasha yelled out, OMG, who did your hair? It looks like my baby sister did it. As she pointed and laughed at me, I could feel my palms sweating and my throat getting tight. So I took a deep breath and replied, Oh, thank you, Natasha. Your baby sister did a fabulous job because I love my hair and I love me some me. Natasha's face turned bright red, and for the first time, she didn't know what to say. She was speechless. I couldn't help but giggle as I walked past her to my desk. Later that day at recess, Natasha tried teasing me again. Just look at Makenna's clothes, she said, laughing. Yeah, it looks like her mom shops at the thrift store, Jordan chimed in. I stopped playing with my friend Star and replied, My parents don't spend a lot of money on clothes because they are saving for me to go to college. What college do you all plan to go to? Natasha and Jordan both looked at each other and asked, What's college? I just shook my head with a big smile and said to myself, I love me some me. When I got home from school that day, I told my mom how I didn't allow Natasha to hurt my feelings. TT Ashley was right, Mom. When I focus on loving me and responding with positive words, I don't get so upset about what Natasha says about me. I wondered if Natasha would eventually get the idea and realize that if she focused more on loving herself, then she wouldn't have time to focus on bullying me. The next day at school, Natasha was at it again. During math class, she made fun of me for giving the wrong answer. Makenna, you're so stupid, Natasha yelled out. Instead of giving up my power and allowing her to hurt my feelings, I raised my hand and asked Mrs. Booker if I could stay in from recess to make flashcards. You certainly can. In fact, I will help you, Mrs. Booker replied with a look of joy on her face. Thank you, Mrs. Booker. I love me too much to not be the best in math class. Natasha looked at me and rolled her eyes. I just smiled and thought to myself, I love me some me. In gym class, Mr. Hopfer was teaching us how to play baseball, and as soon as I struck out, Natasha walked by. Loser, she whispered. Good luck, Natasha, I yelled out with a smile on my face. She was so confused to why I was being nice that she struck out too. I sat on the bench and sang to myself, I love me some me. During lunch, Natasha tried to get everybody to laugh at me. This meatloaf looks just like Makenna, she teased. I looked at her with another smile and replied, Girl, you are so right. This is the prettiest meatloaf I have ever seen, and it tastes good too.
Yummy.
Now that's why I love me some me. On Thursday during art class, Ms. Carr was teaching us how to draw with oil pastels. Of course, Natasha was making fun of my art project. Ms. Carr looked at me and winked her eyes and she said, Very good job, Makenna. I love it. Thank you, Ms. Carr. I love it too. In fact, I love me some me. Natasha sat scowling with her arms folded across her chest. After school, our music teacher, Mrs. Towns, was hosting tryouts for the lead in the school musical. I had never tried out before because I was too shy, but lately I was feeling really good about myself. When it was my turn, I stood up and sang like nobody's business. I was loving me some me, and apparently Mrs. Towns was too, because I got the part. Ooh-wee, I love me some me. By the end of the week, people were noticing how happy I was and asking me why Natasha wasn't getting to me anymore. I told them what my TT Ashley had told me, and that nobody was going to take control of how I act, think, or feel about myself ever again." "How do you do that when Natasha says all those mean things to you?" asked Star. "I don't let Natasha or anybody else have the power to ruin my day or make me feel bad about myself just because they want to be mean to me. I have learned to focus on loving me some me." Soon after, I saw Natasha teasing Star, and I almost jumped out of my seat when I heard Star tell Natasha that she was too busy loving herself to be worried about what she was saying. It got even better when I saw the look of defeat on Natasha's face when she replied, "Not you too." Another week had gone by and everybody was walking around saying, "I love me some me," including Natasha. Today, during morning announcements, the principal announced that Makenna Page was Student of the Month. The principal also stated that since I had been such a positive influence on my classmates, the school would be adopting the slogan, "I love me some me," to help stop bullying and improve students' self-esteem. I was so proud of myself. I couldn't wait to call TT Ashley and tell her the good news. This past few weeks had been the best weeks of my life. I had no idea how much better my life could be or how fun school could be until I stopped focusing on other people and just loved me some me. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. Most importantly, please support the author by purchasing their book. Until next time.